lecture, we will talk about passing an arbitrary number of arguments to a function. Sometimes you want to know ahead of time how many arguments a function needs to accept. Fortunately, Python allows a function to collect an arbitrary number of arguments from the calling statement. For example, consider a function that builds a pizza. It needs to accept a number of toppings, but you cannot know ahead of time how many toppings a person will want. The function in the following example has one parameter, star toppings, but this parameter collects as many arguments as the calling line provides. So we make a function called makePizza, and the parameter called toppings, and in front of toppings we add a star, which means the items for the toppings can be an arbitrary numbers, maybe 1, maybe 3, maybe 4. Then inside the function, then we print toppings. Now this toppings is a local variable, and actually Python will take in all the arguments when calling the function and put these items inside the toppings, and toppings is a tuple. So we have learned tuple is actually a list, but is an immutable list, which means we cannot modify tuples, but we can modify lists. So Python taking all the items when calling the function and put in this tuple called toppings. So we have to add star in front of toppings here. So let us see how we call the function. So make pizza with only one item called pepperoni. Then if we print toppings, if we call this function, the function will take in pepperoni and put in tuples called toppings. Then we print this tuple with only one item inside. And next we will make pizza, calling make pizza, but 3 items inside, 3 toppings type. And similarly, Python will put these 3 items inside this tuple called toppings, then print the toppings inside the function. So the asterisk in parameter name toppings tells Python to make an empty tuple called toppings and pack whatever values it receives into this tuple. And actually, we can replace the print statement with a loop that runs through the list of toppings and describes the pizza being ordered, because tuple is a list, is a type of list, but difference is we cannot modify items inside the tuples. So we change makePizza function with a for loop for print each item of the tuples. So for topping, inside in toppings, print topping. So here we call the function is the same, but the result is each item in the topping are printed out, and not a tuple printed out. And actually, we can mix positional and arbitrary arguments when calling the function. So if you want function to accept several different kinds of arguments, the parameter that accepts an arbitrary number of arguments must be placed last in the function definition. So Python matches positional and keyword arguments first, and then collects any remaining arguments in a final parameter. For example, if the function needs to take in a size for the pizza, that the parameter must come before the parameter asterisk toppings. So in the function definition, Python stores the first value it receives in the parameter size. All other values that come after are stored in tuple toppings. So the function calls include an argument for the size first, followed by as many toppings as needed. So we change this function with 2 parameters. First is the size, no asterisk. So this is a positional parameter. Then next is asterisk toppings. Though this will accept as many arguments as possible after first the argument assigned to the size. So inside the function, we'll print a message making a string function for the size, because size is a numeric value. We have to use string here in the printing. Inch, how many, the size of the inch pizza with the following toppings. Then is a for loop for printing each topping in the toppings tuple. So we call the function make pizza with 16 first. So 16 will be passed to the sides, and pepperoni will be passed to the tuples of toppings. And the next calling, we have 4 arguments. The first 12 will be passed to sides, and the mushroom, green peppers, and extra cheese will be passed to the toppings tuples. So, and we also can use arbitrary keyword arguments. Sometimes you will want to accept an arbitrary number of arguments, but you want to know ahead of time what kind of information will be passed to the function. In this case, you can write functions that accept as many key value pairs as the calling statement provides. One example involves building user profiles. You will get information about a user, but you are not sure what kind of information you will receive. So the function build profile in the following example always takes in a first and a last name, but it accepts an arbitrary number of keyword arguments as well. So here we build a function called build profile, and there are 3 parameter information needed. So first is the first name, last is the last name, and the third is a double asterisk. The parameter name is user info. What this means for the double star? This is actually create a dictionary, empty dictionary, local scope. So only this user info is only be possible used inside the function. So when people call this function, they are automatically a local scope dictionary called user info is created with empty value. Then people passing the information like here, then output Einstein will be passed to the first and the last name. And the location is we know dictionary actually stores information for association between keyword and value. So these keyword value pairs will be assigned and appended in this dictionary, and this field physics will also be appended into this dictionary. So inside the function you will see, so here build a dictionary containing everything we know about a user. So profile is, we can create a local inside the function called profile is a dictionary. Then profile's key called first name is the first value. Profile last name key is the last value. The value is last name we assign in the function when we calling. And the next is a dictionaries for key value in user info items. User info is a dictionary inside, automatically created inside the function called user info here, because we use a double asterisk. So user info's items will return a list of key value pair. So we use 4 key and value in user info items parentheses. Then for key value, we will take this key value pair and put in the profile dictionary. So profile, this dictionary's key is the value of this key value in user info's item. So actually there are 2 dictionaries. First is the user info dictionary, and the second is a profile. Then we return profile dictionary to the statement when calling this function. So the user profile will be returned with profile value, actually a dictionary with all the information we assigned. Then we can print this dictionary. We will show all these statements in Anaconda Spider. we move to section 7. Section 7 functions Python file. Then lecture 7, passing an arbitrary number of arguments to function. Passing an arbitrary number of arguments to function. Then we first make a simple function called make pizza with 1 asterisk toppings. Then run. Then we call this function make pizza with 1 argument pepperoni. Then the result is a tuple printed out with 1 item inside. Next, we call this function and passing 3 arguments. Then 3 arguments inside the tuple are printed out. Next, we can change the function, use a loop inside to print every item inside from this tuple. Run. Then we call this function. Call this function. The first is a pepperoni. Next is mushroom, green pepper, extra cheese are printed out. And here is mixing positional and arbitrary arguments. So this is the position arguments for the size. This is the tuple for the toppings. So toppings will accept the rest of the arguments when calling the function. To run this, created function, then calling the function. Then we'll make a 16-inch pizza with the following toppings, only 1 topping pepperoni. Then calling this time. And we make 12-inch pizza with the following toppings, 3 toppings. And using arbitrary keyword arguments here, there are 2 asterisks, actually is a dictionary. So we will put first 2 positional arguments to first to last, then all the rest of the key value pairs into this dictionary. Then inside the function, we'll create another dictionary and then get all the values from first to last and key value pairs from this dictionary to profile. Then return this profile to calling statement user profile. So we create this function first. Then run this statement calling function. Then we print this dictionary. So this dictionary has 4 key value pairs. First name Albert, last name Einstein, location Princeton, field physics.